welcome to Python Graphics Part 1. In this lesson, we're going to be drawing things in the language Python with the package Turtle. If you've never used Python before, don't worry, we're going to be doing an extremely thorough breakdown of everything code-wise we're doing this lesson. And Python is a really great language to know and to start getting a grasp of. It's well known for being an extremely readable language compared to other languages like C. And it's also very useful because there's a lot of things that are kind of defined for you. In some languages, you have to build up everything you need to do from scratch, but there's a lot of great packages. There's a lot of great pre-existing methods that just come with the language. So it's really helpful. It's really easy to use to get started with compared to some other languages. And there's a lot of awesome documentation out on the great internet if you'd like to explore a lot more on your own after this lesson. And if some of the terms I just used in that description are a little bit confusing to you, you don't know what they are, that's okay. Hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a better idea. So to get started, we're going to take a look at just what a package is and what package we're using. So you can either type in this link if you want to look at it yourself. I'm also going to be showing it, and the link is also included in the description of this workshop on our website. So Turtle is a Python package. And what exactly a package is, it's kind of a collection of methods. And if you have access to the package, you can use those methods. Now you might be wondering, what's a method? It's a chunk of code that you can run by referring to the method by name. So let's give an example. Say there was a package called shapes. This might be helpful for drawing different shapes. There could be a method called rectangle, which defines a chunk of code useful for drawing a rectangle. And if you had loaded this package into your session so that you could use it on, your personal piece of code that you were writing, all you need to do to draw a rectangle would be to call the name of that rectangle method. And often you can kind of customize methods a little bit. So the rectangle method might take arguments that would specify perhaps what size of rectangle you wanted or what color of rectangle. So, and again, this might start to make a little bit more sense as you see some examples as we work through this with the Turtle package. So if you want to read through this, you can on your own time, some general information about the Turtle package. And what's really important here, though, is that they give an overview of the important methods that are part of this class. Now, we're going to be going through some of these in depth today, but not all of them. And if you want to explore more about what you can do with Turtle, this is a great resource. So, for example, we're using the forward method today. If you wanted to learn more about that, you can click on that, and it tells you what arguments it takes. And in this case, if you want to move a turtle forward by a certain amount, you specify the amount you want to move it forward. We're about to give an example of this in real life. And more information, etc., about the method. So take a look at this if you're interested in exploring a little bit more. All right, so moving on from that, actual coding. So I've created a base kind of project on something called REPL.it. It's online, so you don't need to download anything to access this. It should be pretty easy to get started. And I have a screenshot here. Basically, if you copy that link, which you can either type out if you want to, or it'll also be very clickable in the description of this workshop on our website. And if you don't have a REPL.it account, that's okay. It'll prompt you to create one. Basically, my repository with this base code that you need to work through the exercise with us together will show up. And if you press this fork button at the top, you can create your own personal copy of the repository. So you'll have all this base stuff, and then you'll have the ability to modify it, to add your own files, whatever you want to do, really. And if you don't have an account, when you clicked fork, it will prompt you to create something. Create a free account. There's no need to pay for this. Mine is free. Yeah. Okay, so let's actually get to coding. And so I have my personal forked copy of let me refresh this so that don't give anything away yet. Okay. Oh, never mind. That didn't work. Whatever. My personal copy of the forked repository, and what it contains is this main.py script. Mine might look a little different. You might wonder why it's all red. Basically, I've commented it out. In Python, you can comment out code such that it doesn't run when you press the run button, this might make a little more sense as we continue to go through. But basically, I only want to execute these lines of code at the top. So in Python, I can do that by either putting 3 apostrophes at the beginning and end of a chunk of code, or I can comment out a single line just with a hashtag. So we have this main script, which is what we're going to be working through today in this part 1, or starting it at least. And then we also have some kind of fun additional exercises you can work on yourself if you're interested after these parts 1 and 2 finish. So that's graphic colorful hexagon.py and graphics random flowers.py. And then there's also kind of a template with all the basics that you need to create your own totally free-form turtle program, whatever you want to do with that. This is just the absolute necessities. You don't have to call your turtle Bob. Yeah. So let's go through what each line does and then start to investigate what we can actually do with a turtle. So this very first line, import turtle, it tells, this piece of code that we're going to be using the turtle package. So all those methods that I just showed you, we're going to have access to them because we're telling the compiler that's piecing our code together and then running it, hey, we want to access all the methods that are part of this package. So what we do next is we create kind of an instance of the turtle package. We want to create something that we can use to refer to the methods of the package. So I'm calling my turtle Bob. You can call it anything you want, but you will have to make sure to use the same name anytime you use any of the turtle methods. So basically, I am using the turtle constructor that's a part of the package. So I'm saying in the package turtle, I want to use this turtle constructor to create a turtle, and I want to name it Bob. So anytime I say Bob, blah, 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 I'm referring to this turtle object I've created. And so by doing it like this, we've ensured that Bob knows and can use all the methods of the turtle package. All right, so what does this actually do? So what even is a turtle? So to start, we're just gonna run these first 2 lines of code. It's not running anything below because we've commented it out. And so Bob shows up in the middle of the canvas. So the turtle package creates this nice little canvas for us, which the turtle draws on. So you can kind of think of the turtle as if it's a little turtle, maybe a robotic turtle, that has a paintbrush taped to the back of its shell. And as it moves along the canvas, it's drawing a line. So if the turtle moves, you draw. And so what we have here is we're having Bob do 2 things by using this notation Bob dot a method name, the parentheses, and then any applicable arguments in the parentheses. So when we say Bob dot forward 10, we're saying we want Bob to move forward by 10 pixels. That's the unit this is in. And you could find out that exactly by looking into the documentation. And then we say we want Bob to turn right by 2 degrees. So these methods do take arguments. There's something we need to put in the parentheses, but generally for Python, you would use parentheses after the name of a method, no matter if there were arguments or not. That's just kind of something you always need. So you may have noticed that there's not really any noticeable line behind Bob here. 10 is not a lot. So knowing that 10 is the number of pixels and 2 is the number of degrees, think for a second, how would you change these lines of code to execute what exercise 1 is telling you to do, which is to draw a 200 pixel long line and then turn 45 degrees to the right. Give me a second to think. Okay, yeah. So we want, instead of 10 pixels, we want to move forward 200 pixels, and instead of turning 2 degrees to the right at the end, we want to turn 45 degrees. So if we run that, we see Bob goes off the canvas actually, and then turns right 45 degrees. If we wanted to see him go less far, we could change it to 100, and then that happens. Yeah. All right. So all right. So now I'm going to move on to the next exercise. I'm going to change this so everything below here is commented instead. Then I'm actually going to get rid of this stuff above too. You don't really need to. You could have Bob do both things, but it's being difficult. All right. So similarly, to right, you can also have Bob turn left a certain number of degrees. Um, so we're going to try to draw a square. So how does that work? So we're just going to need to piece together methods here to have Bob draw 4 sides and turn a certain number of times. Okay, so we know squares have 90 degrees at the corners, and we're starting in the middle of the canvas. And we want the side legs to have side length 100. So let's start with Bob going left. So let's say we want the first side of the square to be up. So Bob starts facing to the right. So we want him to turn 90 degrees first, and then we want him to move forward 100 pixels. Okay, so then, okay, he's finished the first side. So we need him to turn again. And then we need him to move forward 100 pixels again. So we've done this side, we've turned, we're doing the next side, and then we need to turn again. And so copy paste can be your friend here. And then we'll turn again. Yeah, so let's see what that does. Look, we have a square. Bob goes pretty fast, so you don't really get to see him tracing out the square exactly, but we'll cover later. There's a way to kind of change the speed at which Bob goes. So there's also, you can go backward as well as forward, and as we've already seen, you can go left and right. So as a additional exercise, why this is being difficult for me right now, that's okay. Copy this out. We're going to have Bob start by turning right and then going backwards. So again, squares are 90 degrees. We want to do the first one up. So Bob turns 90. So he's now facing towards the bottom of the canvas, and then he goes backward 100 pixels. And again, we really just want to copy this 4 times, frankly, because we're just doing the same thing 4 times. And you'll see yeah, it looks the same. Well, not exactly the same. It's on the other side, but we drew a square, which is what we wanted. Okay, so you may have noticed that there's quite a lot of repetition in this code. It seems unnecessary to copy and paste the same thing 4 times. There's got to be a way around that. And you'd be right, there is in fact a way around that. So we do this using a for loop. So the syntax is for some variable. In this case, we've called it I. You could say J, K, X, whatever. You just have to be consistent if you refer to it later. In range, parentheses, a number, close parentheses, and a colon. So it's really important to have this colon at the end. And then anything that you want to repeat, the code that you want to repeat this number of times has to be indented. And then once you escape from the indent, it's no longer part of the for loop. It's not going to be repeated. So the number in the parentheses specifies this is the number of times we want to repeat this chunk of indented code that comes after the colon. There's ways to specify starting at a different value or incrementing by a different value for loops. If you're interested, you can look into that. It's not relevant right now, but just know that it exists. You can have more than one argument if you want to get a little bit more particular about how you're incrementing. So for this case, that doesn't matter though. So we're saying, all right, we want to do this chunk of code 4 times. And guess what? We want to draw a square again. So we've gotten some practice figuring out what numbers we actually need to draw a square. And so think to yourself for a moment, what you would need to do to modify this code to draw a square with side lengths of 50. I'm gonna pause for a second. While you think about that, pause the video if you need to. Okay, so we don't need to copy and paste anything because this is like a version of copying and pasting the code 4 times for us. So we're starting going forward here, and we want 50 side length pixels, and then we want to, we're still going to turn 90. Square is always going to have 90-degree sides. Yeah, and let's see what happens. There we go. So yeah, We have these shorter sides here. So we go forward 50 and then we turn right 90 and we've done one iteration. And then we realize, oh, we have 3 more to go because the code is saying we want to do this 4 times. So we go forward another 50, turn right 90. We have 2 more times to go. So we go forward another 50, turn right 90. And then we have 1 more to go. So we go forward another 50, turn right 90, and we're done because we've completed all 4 iterations. So this is everything for part 1 of Python graphics. Next time, we're going to do a little bit more about drawing speeds, how to kind of pick up your hypothetical pen. So you can leave just white space on the canvas and how to change the color when you're drawing, and show you guys what the optional next exercises are. All right, see you in the next video.